Welcome to Amplified, where we amplify the politics and the policies that are impacting Black and brown communities. I'm Aisha Mills, and tonight we're going to start with an update and actually a breakdown of the latest happenings in two consequential cases. First, we turn to the trial in Georgia of three white men who shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery, a Black man. BNC has had gavel-to-gavel coverage since the trial began, and here's a quick recap. In February of 2020, 25-year-old Arbery was out for a jog when a father and son, joined by their neighbor, took it upon themselves to follow and chase Arbery and then gun him down, all in the name of so-called neighborhood watch. And if this latest display of white vigilantism wasn't enough, the defense attorney for the men who killed Arbery decided to add his 2 cents. Have a listen to this.
There's only so many pastors they can have. And if their pastor's Al Sharpton right now, that's fine, but then that's it. We don't want any more Black pastors coming in here, or other Jesse Jackson, whoever was in here earlier this week, sitting with the victim's family, trying to influence a jury in this case. There's only so many pastors they can have. And if their pastor's Al Sharpton right now, that's fine, but then that's it. We don't want any more Black pastors coming in here, or other Jesse Jackson, whoever was in here earlier this week, sitting with the victim's family, trying to influence a jury in this case.
No. And that's not all, though. There's more. Hold on. Keep going.
If a bunch of folks came in here dressed like Colonel Sanders with white masks sitting in the back, I mean, that would be a problem.
Yes, this clown essentially just compared Black pastors who are trying to support a grieving family whose child, whose brother, whose son, whose friend was gunned down by vigilantes. They're trying to support him, compared them to KKK members who might be dressed up sitting in the back trying to intimidate. My colleague Dre Clark was actually on the ground in Georgia, and he tried to get some answers from this clown. I give Dre credit for actually trying to go to talk. And while this guy may be bold in court, there's absolutely no way in hell that he is going to own his nonsense outside. So after much pushback, he ultimately apologized, but he said what he said, and we all heard it. And I gotta tell you, to hear this white man down there claim that having all of these Black pastors, and by all of, he's talking about Reverend Al Sharpton, who was actually one person who came down to support the family because they are grieving right now and in disbelief at how in the world they even got here. Why are they sitting in a courtroom right now bearing witness to this circus that's going on when all their family member did presumably was run down the street, and that just put a target on his back? But to have this guy make such an offensive, ignorant, racial just comparison, to me, should just discredit him and throw him out, because you know his biases and his ignorance, where he thinks that Black clergy somehow are intimidating a white jury. And by the way, let's talk about the jury and the bias in the jury selection. How is it that a town that's like 20-something% African-American ends up with a jury in this case that is clearly racially charged, that only has one Black juror? How does that happen? It happens because you have that attorney who is able to pull a whole bunch of legal maneuvers to discredit people who should have actually been on that jury, and claiming essentially that anybody who supports Black Lives Matter or who isn't a bigot is unfit to serve in this trial. It's absolutely, completely, utterly ridiculous to me. And, you know, I have to also say that the BS argument that even sparked this case, ultimately, Arbery was seen at a construction site. Somebody's building a home, and Arbery is caught there on camera as he's doing his job. Didn't steal anything. The person who owns the home says, well, as far as we know, he didn't do anything nefarious. He was just on camera at that site. That's what caused this whole incident. So you got two vigilantes in the community, this father and son, who are like, oh, we're going to go and we're going to hunt down this guy and then ultimately shoot him and claim it's self-defense that we shot him. Why are you hunting him down with a gun anyway? Nonetheless, it makes me think about a 20-something-year-old kid passing through a construction site. Right now, here in the town that I live in, my fiance has one of the largest construction projects that are happening here in our town. And sometimes, actually more than we would care to admit, people roam in from off the street because they're curious about what's going on that construction site. They're kind of peeping around. They're looking to see what we're doing. The workers often have to shoo them away because it's a liability. And I will also admit that as someone who loves buildings and who also is very much interested in development, I too may have been known to kind of peek my head in and trespass in a place that, you know, there's a construction site where I probably shouldn't have been, not because I was trying to steal anything, but frankly because I'm nosy. And a lot of people are nosy. And perhaps Ahmaud Arbery on this day was nosy. But does that mean that he should have been gunned down in the street? That is really what needs to be called into question in this trial. And it seems to me that the people who are a part of all of this, judge aside, it just seems to me that this lawyer clearly is a bigot and is biased. And kudos to the judge who pretty much swatted him down and said, okay, look, I hear you, but like, no, there's no reason that black clergy can't be in here with the family, being a support to them as they go through probably the worst thing that they could have ever imagined. But anyway, this is certainly one of the perhaps most, closely watched cases calling into question the violation of a victim's civil rights since the trial of Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who we all know now killed George Floyd. But it's not the only one happening right now. Kyle Rittenhouse, an 18-year-old, is standing trial after he fatally shot 2 men and injured another during protests following the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rittenhouse, who is staring at various criminal counts, including first-degree, intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, recklessly endangering the safety, and possessing a dangerous weapon, was out there wearing the not-so-subtle badge of white vigilantism when he decided to be armed and actually go to a protest, quote-unquote, to give out Band-Aids and first aid, whatever. But what's just as appalling in his case is the judge, Bruce Schroeder, who is presiding over this trial. Jaws dropped when Judge Schroeder nixed the prosecution's ability to refer to the men that Rittenhouse shot as, quote, victims. They're dead, 2 of them, by the way. The judge said that it was too loaded to call them victims. The other thing that was loaded was the actual gun that Rittenhouse unloaded on his victims. Yes, they were victims. And never mind that the same judge then ruled that it's perfectly fine for the defense attorney to refer to the protesters whose lives that Rittenhouse took as looters and arsonists. Fast forward to this week, when Schroeder left many of us scratching our heads again at his just complete unprofessionalism as he unleashed on the district attorney for trying to question Rittenhouse about evidence that the judge had earlier ruled as inadmissible, but the defense attorney thought should come back up again. Have a listen to this.
And you'd agree with me that you're not allowed to use deadly force to protect property, correct?
Yes.
But yet you have previously indicated that you wished you had your AR-15 to protect someone's property, correct?
Why would you think that that made it okay for you, without any advance notice, to bring this matter before the jury? I was astonished. By the way, Mr. Richards absolutely correctly points out that just hours ago, I said I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my rulings. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the defense testimony.
Don't get brazen with me.
All right, so we are only in the second week of this case, and we have already heard Rittenhouse's questionable sobs on the stand. The defense requested a mistrial, and from where I'm sitting, I have to wonder if Judge Schroeder is picking sides here and perhaps going to be complicit in what the defense is ultimately asking. It is very, very clear in the way that he is behaving, the hostility that he is emanating as he is dealing with the prosecution, no matter how bad they are, right? The judge's job is to judge and to rule and to say, you need to stop that. You need to do that differently. No, you're not able to do that line of questioning. Whenever the defense, makes a motion, they've got a rule on it. Like, it should be a very professional process and protocol. But the fact that this judge is coming for the prosecution and being as argumentative as he is, essentially arguing the defense's case as he's smacking back at the prosecution, should call into question who in the hell this judge is and how they're able to preside over this, because nothing actually about it feels like it's going to be unbiased, at least in terms of any of this process. And, you know, the thing about Rittenhouse right now, acting like a victim, even though two people are dead at his hands and one person is interested, is that we're not even going to be able, I think, the public, to really get to the heart of his motivation for even being out there in the first place, because this judge seems to want to block a lot of the real conversation around his motivations that would matter in this case to come to light. I got to tell y'all that it is so frustrating to watch, our justice system play out when it is clearly not designed for people to actually achieve justice, for people to not have a true representation in a jury of their community and having a jury of their peers, and then to have a judge who thinks that he has an opportunity to somehow litigate this case as opposed to just judge it is completely ridiculous. So I hope that you all are paying attention to this. At minimum, we need to police the practices of the judicial system and make sure that it is functioning and operating fairly for everybody. And what we're seeing on display right now is completely questionable. All right, it's Friday.